Good evening. Welcome once again to the Defense Chronicles. Tonight we have Dean Jose Roy III, and two questions I'd like to ask him. First, good evening, Dean Roy. I'd like to know from you exactly what is this so-called expose that Representative Jorge Banal has come up last Thursday, and second, tell us something about the withdrawal of the bank accounts.
Good evening, Leslie. Thank you for having me again. Last Thursday, I wasn't at the session, but I believe that Ms. Chongson, the bank manager of PS Bank at the Katipunan branch, admitted that she had been approached by Congressman Banal. I think they call him Bullet. All right? And this led to questions as to whether she had given him the documents containing the information. So far, the bank has testified that the documents being presented by the congressman are fake. But it's not clear why they are fake. They could be fake for two reasons. They could be fake because they are not copies of the original, or they could be fake because they simply contain the same information but do not conform to the actual form of the originals. Right? Now, if they are copies of the originals, then there is no question that they must have come from the bank, because these are documents of the bank. Not even the client has a copy of these signature cards, as you know. And as time passes, entries are made, which obviously the client will not have. If they are fake, then the information probably should not correspond to the documents in the bank. But if they do, then the document might be fake, but the information would still have to have come from the bank. See? Now, what is the story of Banal? It's essentially the same story as Congressman Umali. Both of them essentially claim that they did not get the documents from the bank, or that they did not get the information from the bank, but that mysteriously, just like in the fairy tales, this information fell on them. In the case of Umali, like the little lady in Snow White who brought the apple. In the case of Banal, like the elves and the shoemakers, where the shoemaker suddenly wakes up and lo and behold, there are shoes to sell. Is it possible that they came from the same source for the two of them? Well, I think they're trying to make it clear that they come from different sources. It's possible that the same little lady who gave the documents to Umali also put them at the gate of Banal. Maybe she's so little she couldn't hit the doorbell.
That's right.
So she just stuck it in the gate. See? Now, we've reviewed the CCTV. Everybody's had a chance to look at them. Yeah. Umali's protesting that he has not seen them yet. Right? Yeah. There is no image of a little lady giving him anything. I don't know if he's accustomed to getting things from little ladies, but in that video, no image of a little lady giving him anything. Obviously, in the case of Congressman Banal, there is no CCTV going to be made available to us.
Yes.
Right? But I think the most irritating part of all of this is their request that we accept the story as a matter of inter-parliamentary courtesy. That is an insult to our intelligence. It is not even a request based on the inherent credibility of the story, but a request based on the fact that, well, since I'm a legislator, can you please not bother me and stop asking me? There is a complete refusal to disclose the truth. See? Now, it's fortunate that I do not vote in their districts. I cannot imagine electing any of these people to office And to all of you who vote in their districts, think again. These are just documents. They're presented in court and passed off as authentic. These are fake or falsified documents. Think of what will happen when the time comes and they're asked to explain where your money went, where your taxes went. Is this the kind of fairy tale you want? Do you want to elect these fictional characters? Now, this is why we are so upset. And this is what is taking so long with these bank accounts. Why are we spending so much time with these bank accounts? They are not even alleged in Article 2. These bank accounts are mentioned in Article 2.4, which everybody knows has already been thrown out by the court. Yet they keep insisting that this falls as part of Article 2 because the amounts of money in the bank account were not reflected in the SALN of the chief. And they are saying that because these amounts are not reflected, it is untruthful. Now, is this an impeachable offense? Because the president seems to be of the idea that since the SALN is given under oath, there is an obligation to make it truthful, or there is a legal penalty if it is not truthful. Why? Because Section 8 of Republic Act 6713 says that if there is any inaccuracy, deliberate or otherwise, in the SALN, the remedy is to call the attention of the public officer who files the SALN and order him or request him to make the correct entry. They cite a case regarding a clerk of court or a clerk with respect to a public market stall. That case does not apply. There was a different set of circumstances because the clerk used influence to gain control of the market stall. Stop lying about how jurisprudence works. You do not know how it works. Now, since there is a remedy in 6713 for the correction of the SALN, even assuming that the entries in the SALN do not correspond to the bank accounts of the Chief Justice, this is not an impeachable offense. Read my lips. This is not an impeachable offense because the law itself provides a remedy. It is certainly not a high crime. It is certainly not a culpable violation. What is happening here is a blackening of the reputation of the Chief Justice, an abuse of the court process, and a desperate attempt to picture him as unfit for office. This is wrong. So, to all those who are accusing the defense of setting up a mistrial, think again. It is the prosecution that is insisting upon presenting this evidence. I would like now to address the withdrawal of the bank accounts.
Yes, please tell us more about that.
As Mrs. Corona has made known, the money does not belong to Renato Corona. It belongs to the Basa Guidote Corporation. This corporation has been engaged in leasing for about 50 years now. Unfortunately, it no longer files its documents with the SEC. It has been embroiled in litigation for many years.
That's right.
And because of that, the affairs of the corporation cannot be settled and finished. But there is no question that this corporation has received millions and millions of pesos from the expropriation of some of its property, from rents that have been collected, and from the sale of other properties. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we marked in evidence, I think it is Exhibit 17 or 18, I'm not sure now, a check representing the payment to Cristina Corona in trust for Basa Guidote Corporation. Now, question. Shouldn't this be included in the SALN of the Chief Justice?
That's right.
Now, I remember, let's go back. The non-inclusion in itself is not a crime. It invites no liability. But should these monies, which were withdrawn on December 12th, have been included in the SALN of the Chief Justice? Certainly not. They do not belong to him. Okay? Why were they kept with him? That's between them. That has nothing to do with us. It's just like anyone asking his spouse to hang on to something. Remember, the money was paid to Cristina Corona in trust for. That means she's the rightful possessor of the funds. But she is not the rightful owner because the corporation still exists. And therefore, it has not yet been distributed. And so, the money correctly belongs to the Basa Guidote Corporation. So why not put it in the bank account of the Basa Guidote Corporation? I'll tell you, simple reason. It's very difficult to do that. There's no longer a board of directors. It's no longer operating. I can tell you that by judicial decree, long ago, 96% of the corporation belongs to Cristina Corona. That money belongs to the corporation, not to Cristina, not to Renato. One day it will belong to them. At that time, then we can demand that they put it in their SALN. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Dean Jose Roy, for the Defense Chronicles. See you again soon.